To the outside world, the life of Ben Shephard and his wife, Annie Shephard, has always appeared to be the picture of stability, a grounded, loving marriage in the often unpredictable world of British television. Ben, known for his warmth on This Morning, his kindness, his modesty, and his unwavering professionalism, has long been one of Britain's most adored presenters. Annie, a woman of elegance, quiet intelligence, and deep compassion, has been the steadfast anchor behind his ever-rising success. For many viewers, they are the couple that got it right. The couple that stayed out of scandals, the couple that always radiated mutual respect. But behind every polished public appearance, there is another story, one the cameras never see. And now, after years of maintaining their privacy, something has happened behind closed doors that insiders describe as shocking, intense, and heartbreakingly human. A moment so emotionally charged that Annie Shephard reportedly walked out, leaving Ben stunned, speechless, and facing the greatest personal reckoning of his life. Today, we tell the story of the confrontation that shook the Shephard household, a moment that has raised questions about their future, tested their marriage, and revealed the unseen emotional load carried by a woman the public rarely hears from. This is not gossip. This is not scandal-mongering. This is the story of two people navigating the fragile, complicated world of love, sacrifice, and unspoken pressure. A story that may feel painfully familiar to many watching. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Pressure No One Talks About. For more than 2 decades, Annie has watched Ben's career grow, from early GMTV days to Good Morning Britain, from game show presenter to Saturday night favorite, and now one of ITV's most trusted, beloved faces. She has always been his quiet supporter, his grounding force, his calm in the storm. But behind that calm exterior, something had been building. People close to the couple described the past year as a period of subtle strain, not dramatic, not explosive, but persistent. It began with Ben's increasingly demanding schedule. His days stretched longer, his commitments multiplied, and the rare quiet moments at home became even rarer. Presenters are supposed to look well-rested, calm, cheerful. But the truth is, the work is exhausting. Early mornings, late-night planning, endless production meetings, public appearances, brand commitments, all demanding energy that has to come from somewhere. And often that somewhere is home. For Annie, who had always created a peaceful, grounded life for their family, the constant juggling became harder to sustain. 2 nearly grown sons moving into new phases of life, aging parents needing support, a home filled with responsibilities that only ever grew. Add to that the emotional labor, remembering schedules, managing diaries, smoothing over the disruptions caused by Ben's career, and even a strong woman begins to feel the weight. But Annie didn't complain. She rarely does. Her love language has always been quiet endurance. Yet quiet endurance has its limits. Chapter 2. The Missed Moment. Insiders say the flashpoint, the event that cracked the calm surface, was something surprisingly small, almost trivial. But as many couples know, it's rarely the big events that break us. It's the accumulation of tiny disappointments, forgotten moments, and the feeling of being taken for granted. The moment happened on a Wednesday afternoon, in the kitchen of their family home. Not dramatic, not glamorous, just real life. Ben had promised Annie that he'd be home early for something important, something she had asked for, something she didn't often insist on. A simple family dinner. Not a special celebration, not an anniversary, just a meal together, the 4 of them, before one son left for university and the other began focusing intensely on sports. For Annie, this mattered deeply. But that afternoon, the call came. ITV needed Ben to stay for an extended meeting, Something about changes to the next week's show, a crisis involving guests, or a schedule reshuffling. Ben, ever the professional, agreed. He always agrees. He texted Annie, promising he'd make it. She saw the message. She hoped. She waited. But the clock ticked. The food cooled. The boys drifted away into their rooms, and Annie sat alone at a table set for 4. When Ben finally walked in, exhausted, apologetic, genuinely remorseful, something inside her shifted. It wasn't anger. It wasn't resentment. It was heartbreak. The kind of heartbreak that comes from feeling invisible. She didn't shout. She didn't cry. She simply said, quietly, "Ben, you weren't here." Chapter 3. The Confrontation. The big emotional break didn't happen that night. It happened several days later, after more small disappointments, more rushed mornings, more late-night returns. One evening, the dam finally burst. It happened in their living room, a calm, warm space filled with memories, photos, family moments. Ben had just come home from another unexpectedly long day. Annie was sitting on the sofa, not reading, not watching television, just sitting, as if gathering strength. What followed, according to those close to them, was not a typical marital argument. It was something deeper, a release of years of unspoken fear, worry, and emotional exhaustion. Annie told him everything she had held inside, how she felt she always came second to his job, how she missed the man who used to switch off, truly switch off, how she worried that he was slowly burning himself out, how she felt lonely, not unloved, but lonely, inside a marriage that looked perfect to everyone else. Her voice didn't rise, her words didn't cut, but that made them hurt even more. Ben, blindsided, tried to explain, tried to reassure, tried to fix things immediately, something many men instinctively do. But Annie wasn't asking for solutions. She was asking to be heard. When Ben insisted, "I'm doing my best," Annie replied, "I know you are, but your best is costing you, and it's costing us." Ben was silent. For the first time, he truly didn't know what to say. Chapter 4. The Moment She Walked Out. The moment nobody saw unfolded quietly. After the conversation reached a point where both were emotionally overwhelmed, Annie stood up. She didn't grab a suitcase. She didn't storm out. She simply reached for her bag, the same one she used for running errands, picking up groceries, living an ordinary life. She looked at Ben with eyes full of tears she refused to let fall. She said, "I need space, just for tonight. I can't think clearly here." Then she did something she had never done in all their years together. She walked out. No shouting, no dramatic exit, just a woman who needed to breathe, to reclaim a small piece of herself, to feel the ground beneath her feet. Ben stood frozen. Those who know him say he was shattered, not angry, not defensive, but heartbreakingly aware that something deeper than a simple argument had taken place. The house felt enormous, empty, silent, a silence that rattled him more than any audience's criticism or studio pressure ever could. Chapter 5. What Happened Next. Close friends say Annie didn't disappear. She didn't run away. She simply stayed with a friend for the night, someone she trusted, someone who understood that sometimes the strongest women need a moment of weakness. During those hours apart, both Ben and Annie did something they hadn't done in years. They reflected. Ben replayed every word, every moment he brushed off a request, every time he had assumed Annie understood. He realized that his devotion to his work, noble, hard-working, admirable, had unintentionally become a wall between them. And Annie, meanwhile, let herself feel everything she had swallowed for years: the fear, the pressure, the exhaustion, the ache of watching her sons grow up while she felt she was holding the family together alone. But she also remembered the good: Ben's kindness, his devotion, the way he always puts others first, sometimes too much. She still loved him. That was never the question. The question was whether love on its own was enough. Chapter 7. The Morning After. Ben didn't sleep. He made coffee at 4 a.m. He walked around the quiet house staring at photos: the boys as toddlers, family holidays, their wedding day. He realized something